Easter eggs have been a part of video game culture for a very long time. Years, even decades at this point. Now, what is an Easter egg? An Easter egg is something where when you're traveling through the in-game map or you're maybe navigating through the game menu, you come across something that's a little unusual, peculiar, and it might not fit that scenario that you're in. However, when you take a deeper look into what this image or word phrase or anything along those lines is, it'll hint at something else later on in the game or maybe something completely different. Now, PUBG Mobile is no stranger to Easter eggs. For years now, it has been at the center of some of the biggest video game mysteries, and today we're going to be talking about 10 of the very best Easter eggs in PUBG Mobile. Some of these may still work, and others are long forgotten. But today, we're going to be taking a step back in time and looking at the 10 best Easter eggs in PUBG Mobile history. If you learned something new and you thought this video was well made, I would greatly appreciate a like rating down below. Subscribe for more PUBG Mobile content just like this. And with that being said, let's begin. Alright guys, so starting things off here, south of the military base in those small little nondescript islands that no one would ever go to, we find our very first Easter egg. This does not exist anymore, but at this time, this was extremely significant because this hinted at zombie mode coming to this game. For whatever reason, some person decided to swim over here, and when they came up on this rocky beach, they found dead zombies washed ashore. Now, this freaked out the entire community because this meant that zombies would probably come to PUBG Mobile pretty soon. And guess what? It did. Now, this doesn't exist anymore, obviously, because zombie mode already exists in PUBG Mobile. But believe me, this is probably one of the most secretive things ever, and I don't know how someone managed to find this, because whoever lands at those islands, I don't know, man. But anyways, continuing on, this next secret location is right there, north of Podvosto. You know what I'm talking about already if you've played PUBG more than a month. It's the secret cave of Vikendi. This is the most well-known Easter egg in the entirety of PUBG's history, and the vast majority of people watching this video already know what I'm talking about, and you've probably already been here. But for the people who don't, you see that wall right there? You're not getting through, right? Well, not so fast. If you take a vehicle, you can ram it into the wall, and look, it falls right down. You're exposed to a hidden cave. And this secret cave isn't useless. No, no, no. This secret cave will actually give you some of the best loot you'll ever find in PUBG Mobile. So check it out because it's still there and you can actually still go into it. There's going to be some enemies there because a lot of people land here now. Most people know about it. But if you don't, it's still worth checking out. I really, really like this place and I hope they bring more secret caves like this in the future. This next Easter egg is in the Chinese version of the game. It's that secret airdrop. Now, if you notice on the map, there's various different icons placed in different areas. There's an Easter Bunny icon, but we're going to focus on the golden tree icons that you can see in a select few areas around the map. I'm going to land over at that area right there. When you actually get up to where the icon is, you'll notice that there's a very festive Chinese area in the map, and you can find these little bunny rabbits. You click the bunny icon, he becomes your friend, and then you go over to the rabbit icon. You can jump on top of a gigantic inflatable rabbit's belly. Don't ask me how they came up with this idea, but they did. And also, the big part of this Easter egg is this little special rabbit hut right here. Your little rabbit friend will open up the door and he's going to gift you a bunch of awesome loots that you can only get if you follow this entire process. Very, very cool. But another really cool thing is something that actually exists in the global version, an Easter egg that involves a little pet. A little pet bird, a falcon to be exact, that actually sits on your shoulder and assists you throughout the entire match. If you land in a variety of different places around the map, you'll find eventually, usually at the top of a cliff, a little bird's nest that randomly appears. Now this is in a lot of different areas around the map and it doesn't exist anymore, but it did exist at one time. And you would find in the nest, there are some eggs that you can hatch and you can get your little pet falcon who will now be on your shoulder. And this little pet falcon will follow you everywhere. He's freaking awesome. I don't know what to tell you, but to have a pet in this game is just the best thing ever. And I don't know what else to tell you. It's awesome. Moving right along, my friends, this was probably one of the very first Easter eggs in this entire game. I'm going to land over at Lipovka and get myself a boat, but we're going to actually head back to the spawn island in this game. In Erangel, at a certain point, people didn't know that you could actually go right back to the spawn island and you can get some special loot over there. Probably everybody knows at this point that you can get there. I mean, it's right there on the map. But at one point, people didn't know that. And once people found out that you can actually go back to spawn island, everybody was heading there in droves. You actually found some pretty cool loot there, to be fair. Nowadays, it's nothing special. As you'll see in the background, I find myself a police vest and an energy drink. That's about it. But back in the day, some pretty decent loot spawned here, and it was almost worth the probably 8 to 10 minute boat ride from mainland Erangel to get here to manage to find some of that loot. It also was very quiet. You wouldn't find enemies, and it was a really nice area to get away from it all for a little bit. Next secret location is at this nondescript bunker at the far northern part of Erangel. If you found this bunker, and then later on you found a gas can right in front of that doorway, you were in luck. All you needed was a grenade. You would throw the grenade and then blow up the gas can and then the door. And then after you walked through that doorway, you would be presented with a whole host of Easter eggs that all point toward Erangel 2.0, a very soon future updates to PUBG Mobile. You would get special icons on the map that would show changes in the map, and then you would get other interactive areas within that secret bunker, and it all pointed toward Erangel 2.0. Probably one of the coolest Easter eggs out there. But here's another one, and it's also in the Chinese version of the game. This no longer exists in the Chinese version, but hopefully it'll be brought back at some point because it's really freaking cool. In Vikendi, if you found this special little building right here, you might come across this statue. And this statue was of a little Chinese god, I guess, a dragon god type thing. He's maybe a god, or he's maybe just some random dragon in Chinese folklore, but you would interact with that thing. These other actual mini dragons, they almost look like little lizards, iguanas maybe, you would have to kill all of them, right? And then they would drop these random items. I don't know what those things are. Maybe they're helmets, maybe they're claws. If anybody can let me know down below in the comments, because I'm at a loss of what those things are. I speak a little bit of Chinese, but not enough to know what that thing is. Very confusing stuff. But right there in front of me on the floor, that is the key. That is the super flare gun. And the super flare gun was a flare gun of its own, okay? This super flare gun would give you an experience that I can only hope will happen in the global version of PUBG. Super freaking cool, and it makes me want to play the Chinese version more than the global version, okay? Because guess what? That thunderstorm would spawn a bigger dragon, and this bigger dragon took a lot of hits to kill, okay? This guy was lucky in the background gameplay because he's higher up than the dragon. But after you shot a bunch of bullets at that dragon, he would give you airdrop grade loots and double airdrop grade loots because it's a super airdrop. Awesome stuff. But here's another thing that you can actually do right now if you wanted to. This footage was recorded today. In the training camp of PUBG Mobile, if you came to the back of this crate area and you went inside that hay bale, guess what? There's a ghillie suit. You might have already known about that, but did you know if you climb all the way to the very top of the crates, something else will happen? I'm going to show a little time lapse of me. It actually is relatively difficult to actually climb up on top of these crates, but after a bit of trying, you're going to manage to get it. And once you get to the very, very top of this tower, you'll find another ghillie suit, but more importantly, a freaking chicken. This guy is invincible, mind you, okay? You take out your AWM, Mr. Chicken's taking it like a champ, okay? But you can find a real-life chicken dinner in PUBG Mobile. Awesome stuff. Now, here's another really cool one. We're getting close to the end of the video, but this Easter egg is a whole hidden city, okay? It's kind of crazy because you're like, how could they hide an entire city? You know, a cave is something that people found. How could they have hidden a city? Well, it doesn't show up in the map, and it would randomly spawn at random spots in the map, right? So you would never know where it is. You just have to drive around until you found it, which is found right here at this point, okay? It would be anywhere, so you would never really know. But once you actually found the city, you would manage to get some very, very cool loot, okay? Sometimes I've managed to find airdrop grade loots. Unfortunately, they don't have this anymore, and it's been a long time since this has been in the game, but maybe they'll bring something like this back. It's really freaking cool, and if they ever do, it's entirely worth checking out. And at the very end of it all, my friends, the final Easter egg I want to show you guys is this yacht right here. Now, this just looks like a regular boat, nothing special. I mean, in Vikendi at the port, there are boats everywhere. But this boat had loot on it, and you would never know where it was. Because this boat, just like a boat in real life, would move around the map, okay? And it wouldn't show up on your mini-map. You'd have to be lucky, and if you're by the coastline, you could see it in the distance. You could get on your surfboard, and you could surf out to the boat, and inside the boat find some very, very cool loot. You could go all around all of the different decks, and in my personal opinion, it's actually worth checking out, because if you manage to get to the very front of the ship on the inside, you would find a special crate. And inside that crate, a flare gun and some other awesome items. At the time when this existed, it was super hard to find, but it was so entirely worth it. And with that, my friends, that concludes this video. There are only a couple of Easter eggs that I showed you all in this video that still work. Some of these Easter eggs only existed for a very short time, and you had to experience them while you could. There are Easter eggs that exist right now that might only exist for a very short time, and in the future, they might be gone. So experience all of the Easter eggs that you can. Experience all of the secret locations that you can right now, because you never know when they'll be gone forever. My friends, I hope you all enjoyed this video. This was a lot of fun making. If you guys did enjoy this, I would greatly appreciate a like rating down below. Subscribe to the channel for more PUBG Mobile videos coming out very, very soon. And that's it. I'll see you all later.